So you can actually see the seasonality for any of these things. If you're a scalper and you want to look at a specific stock and see, how does each hour of the day, is there any edge I can get from that? Sometimes you'll find an edge, sometimes you won't. In this case, you can see these are pretty much flat. There's not a lot of difference here between, the first or the last hour of the day. But this is good to know if you are trading. You at least have some type of percent rate to go off of when making these trades on a technical perspective.
This is the How to Trade Stocks Options podcast, brought to you by 10MinuteStockTrader.com, where we cover finance, stocks, options, entrepreneurship, education, and money. And here's your host, voted one of the top 100 people in finance, Christopher Ewell. Today's episode is produced in partnership with Trendspider. Get scanning, charts, backtesting, and alerts all in one place with Trendspider. Go to trendspider.10MinuteStockTrader.com to get an exclusive discount code and bonuses worth over $100 when you take your free trial at trendspider.10MinuteStockTrader.com. Hey there, traders. Welcome back to today's How to Trade Stocks Options podcast. Today, we have a special lesson for you. I'm putting it here on the podcast because I really believe that this is going to provide you massive, massive value. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And hey, listen, if this podcast was useful to you at all, I really highly suggest that you go check out the full trading course at AIStockTradingSystem.com. That's AIStockTradingSystem.com. Hey, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified every time we give you more tools, tips, and tricks to help you trade faster and trade smarter every single week.
Hey everybody, Jake here with Trendspider to go over another technical analysis series video. In this video, we're going to go over how to use technical analysis and fundamental analysis together. And with fundamental analysis, we are going to include seasonality in there. So let's jump in and see how we can use this. So starting off with, if we want to look at anything regarding seasonality, analyst estimates, news, anything, that's going to be at the top right here in the sidebar. So when I click sidebar, I have the ability to show the sidebar, and you'll see all of these different things pop up. Now, these are things that I've already pulled up. So if you are new to the platform and looking how to pull these up, you would simply go to add or remove widgets, click that button, and then you're able to add pretty much anything from here. So in this case, add new widget here, and then you can see you can add alerts, your notes, seasonality, which is already up there, and then you can add your watch list or scanner as well. So we're just going to focus on these three things today. And the first thing I want to touch on is technical analysis. Obviously, we're looking at a chart here. We've got some trend lines on the monthly chart all the way back from 2002 and 2003. And you can see this long-term level of resistance has just been tested again in July of 2020. And what's interesting about this is, obviously, the price is starting to pull back. And on top of that, if we look at the seasonality here, you can see something really interesting. If you look at this seasonality chart and go to, we've got this monthly up, so we're looking at the month-by-month seasonality. Since 2015, which is obviously about 5 years ago, you can see the seasonality for Amazon is very distinct in some different months. So in this case, you can see for July, 83% of all the Julys since 2015 have been positive. If you look at April, 100% of the April months have been green for the month since 2015. These are really important statistics to know when you're pairing this with technical analysis. And the really interesting thing about this is, if we look at the price action on this resistance area, notice what happens into August and September over the last 5 years. The chances of a positive month drastically decrease, and these aren't necessarily probabilities, these are historical facts. So over the last 5 years, 40% of Augusts have been green. Compare that to 83%. That's a big drop, over half. And then when we get into September, only 20% of the Septembers since 2015 have been green. And so obviously we can change this date, and that's going to change things. But a lot of the time, if you're trading, you want to look at the most recent data. If you look too far back, like something like let's go to 2000, this normalizes a lot. You can see these numbers definitely start to even out. However, you can still see the positivity rate for late summer and early fall do go down relative to the spring and the summer months. So that is something to definitely keep in mind. Let's say that you are a position trader, you're probably looking at the monthly, but if you're a scalper or a day trader, you're probably going to want to look at maybe the week or the day of the week. So you can actually see the seasonality for any of these things. If you're a scalper and you want to look at a specific stock and see, how does each hour of the day, is there any edge I can get from that? Sometimes you'll find an edge, sometimes you won't. In this case, you can see these are pretty much flat. There's not a lot of difference here between, the first or the last hour of the day. But this is good to know if you are trading. You at least have some type of percent rate to go off of when making these trades on a technical perspective. So that is something that is really powerful. You can use seasonality on anything, whether that's SPY, whether that's Amazon, any stock or asset, you can do that. And now, on top of that, we do have the news events from Benzinga, which is very powerful. Anything that comes up from Benzinga, this will pop up here in this sidebar. And then one of the most powerful things here is the analyst estimates. So you can see all of the different analyst estimates here. And let me go ahead and just remove this news so we can see that a little better. Notice that you can see out of the last year, 81 of the analysts have been bullish, meaning they ranked it a buy. Only 2 people have ranked this a hold, and 0 have ranked Amazon a sell. So that just shows, on top of the technical strength of this chart, and especially if this breaks out of this long-term resistance, this goes to show, okay, maybe the analysts know what they're talking about. Well, there's a lot of times where an analyst doesn't know what they're talking about. Let's go to something like Disney, and we'll pull up something similar, right? We'll go to the monthly chart. It doesn't really matter what chart we're on. But let's say that we want to go through some of these different analysts and see if they were actually on the money or if they weren't on the money. So let's go through a couple. We'll go, we'll do Wells Fargo. They said it was going to be a buy September of 2019. Let's do someone who said this is a hold, maybe Imperial Capital. And then let's go to a couple of these sell guys. May of 2020, that was a sell. Another one, May of 2020, another sell. And so we can add all of these different analysts, and then what we can do is we can turn on the events button. And if we go to these 3 dots and click analysts estimates, you got to make sure that's turned on or it's not going to pop up on the bottom of your screen. You'll see that all of these different boxes show up. So obviously B is going to be a buy rating, sell is going to be a sell rating, and then hold is, H is going to be a hold. So you can see over time, in this particular case, these analysts who came out with these buy ratings were right on the money. You can see how the price went up. Now in this case, notice that in July of 2015, you had JP Morgan confirmed a buy, and you can see this pop up on the screen right below my mouse. And then what happens after that? Within the next year or two, Disney drops significantly. So you can see, okay, well, JP Morgan came out with a buy literally the month before this thing tanked. Do they know what they're talking about? Is this just a discrepancy here? But you can really go back and see, are these analysts actually right, or are they just throwing out a random buy or sell estimate and just kind of going from there? The beautiful thing is you can hold these analysts and these different firms accountable and see, do these people actually know what they're talking about? By simply just going here, you can see here there was a couple buy ratings in December of 2019. Wells Fargo confirmed a buy 9 months ago. Well, from that buy rating, Disney went from 150 down to almost right below 8, or right below 80. Wow, I didn't realize it went below 80 for a second. So you can see, Wells Fargo, you can pretty much take that with a grain of sand or salt, whatever you want to make that analogy, and see that, okay, these guys literally came out with a buy signal right at the top. And so this is something really important if you want to actually look at analysts and look at their ratings and see, okay, is this person worth talking to? Is this person worth, going a completely different way from them, maybe doing the opposite of what they're saying? And so this really gives you a lot of power on the chart. So you can see we're actually integrating this fundamental data onto the chart and actually making it a technical type of indicator. So this is something that is incredibly powerful. The seasonality is incredibly powerful as well. Let's go to the monthly chart here, and we'll look back since 2000. This is another great example. Disney only has gone up 30% of all the Augusts since 2000. So that means, going into August in September, there's less than a 50% probability, at least based on the historical numbers, that this is going to be a positive month. And so you can see definitely in the spring, this does a lot better than into the summer months and early fall. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Using technical analysis is just one of the things to do in the market. It's really important to also understand seasonality, understand the fundamentals, and all that good stuff. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. Like our video if this is helpful. If you're a current customer of Trendspider, thank you so much for being a customer. And hopefully this video gives you some insight on how to use fundamental and technical analysis together. Thanks so much and have a great day.
Okay, so what'd you think? That was pretty incredible, right? Now, if you like that, that's only a taste, only a sample of what you're going to find in the full AI stock trading system. And I really highly encourage you to go and check this out. Obviously, you are interested in learning on how to trade, and that's why you're listening to this podcast. Now, I'm going to take and download my entire trading system that I use day in and day out onto you. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is over at the AIStockTradingSystem.com. You're going to get phase 1, 2, and 3, several bonuses, and on top of that, I'm going to walk you through over a dozen trades that I put on inside of my account, holding your hand and showing you exactly how I got in, how I got out, how I use the artificial intelligence data, and how this could work inside of your own trading portfolio on a daily basis. So make sure you head on over to AIStockTradingSystem.com. That's AIStockTradingSystem.com to learn more and to get started and to download my decade plus worth of trading experience into your hands so you can start using the AI stock trading system today, the 5-step system to take the guesswork out of trading. Hey, if you like this video, let me know by leaving me a like below, and then subscribe and share it with somebody you think could use it as well. Be sure to comment below with your biggest takeaway from this episode and any suggestions you have for future episodes. And finally, make sure you watch these other videos to help you trade faster and trade smarter, and I'll see you on the next episode.